all know about the Bethlehem Area School District's problems right now. Okay. Okay. And that's where and just to round out your, sort of finish up on the question that you asked me, that's why this represents not just property tax relief, but long-term property tax reform. Okay? Because the relief part is the 60%. Your taxes go down. The reform part is that we move away from property taxes as our sole, that we have to rely on for the bulk of our revenue to deliver those services, and we diversify it to a different tax. That's where the reform comes over time. We all know the money's going to come from someplace. Do we try to run our governments efficiently? Yes. Do we do all those things? Yes. But we also realize that we have a structural issue right here, and we're asking, in particular some of the cities in the Lehigh Valley. Easton has 40% of their properties within the city of Easton are tax exempt. So you got 60% of the folks, a lot of them, like the Lafayette folks, and they can afford to pay the county seat. Some of those employees could certainly afford to pay a sales tax. But if they don't live in Easton, they benefit from all those services, but they're not necessarily paying for it in their real estate taxes. But they might if they went out to lunch in downtown Easton, they'd pay that in that form. So it just diversifies the way that we fund local government. So that's the relief and the reform aspect of it. Now, we talked about what the question or the issue or the statement of a qualified municipality. So how do you become a qualified municipality? Municipalities qualify for their share by adopting in advance an ordinance supporting that the county would enact the tax. So your council would say to Percy, to the commissioners, and we in Catasauqua like this idea. We think that the county should enact this tax, because you got to think about this, because what we're asking, there's politics here, right? We all recognize that this is, after all, sort of perceived as a tax, and we're trying to give everybody adequate cover. So the county commissioners say to themselves, well, why are we only getting 50%? When the negotiations started at 70%, they wanted 75% of the proceeds, because they said, we're the ones expected to give up, to put the vote up to raise the tax. So we want the proceeds, right? I mean, and that's a fair statement, right? And so we are trying to give sort of everybody along this chain adequate cover in a good way, so that everybody does, at the end of the day, the right thing. Because what's going to happen now in the state is, if they don't deal with their fiscal problems, the state, he will, the real estate taxes. He's got certain human services that he's got to provide. And we will, because we're not going to get those dollars down to local government. So they can run around and say, we didn't pass the personal income tax, or we didn't pass this tax or that tax. But at the end of the day, those services are going to get delivered at some level, and it's going to be off property taxes. The most regressive tax you can have. So this is critically important for us now, because because the way things are going right now, it could get awfully ugly. It's going to get uglier for local government, if you can imagine that, as tough as it is right now. So we're asking the legislature to enable us the option of a 1%. We're not asking them to raise the tax. We're asking them to enable local government to decide for themselves how they should fund their services. But we are asking the counties to enact the tax. And so we think it's appropriate that local governments step up and say, we think this is a good thing. And that's how you become qualified. If you don't pass that, you get used, and the county passes the tax. I think that's important when I say tax, because it's not fair. And the county would pass that tax, then you would still be taxed, but you would get none of the proceeds back to your municipality. And you would be locked out for 3 years. We have an option 3 years from then to rethink what your decision and not become qualified. But I think that's fair to give the county some cover. Now, where a county has not enacted the tax, the county may be required to levy the tax by a municipal initiative adopted by the municipal governing bodies that would represent 60% by population of that county. So if after 12 months the county did not enact the tax, If 60% of the local governments within that county by population said we want it, they would be compelled. Any county or municipality may allocate a portion of its share to municipal collaborative efforts, and first-class and second-class counties are excluded from the act. That's because that's Philadelphia, which already has it, and Allegheny, which already has it. Now, this I'm not going to read these to you, but this Jim Kennedy is the current president of CCAP, and he says nice things about this local property tax relief act. You could read that for yourself. From the smallest townships and boroughs to our largest cities and counties. It is a truly collaborative effort. John is from the chairman of PSATs. Many municipalities have broke their budgets trying to deliver road salt, and we're really facing tough choices of either reducing those services or raising taxes. This provides us with a more predictable funding stream and allow us to make a better choice. The president of the League of Cities thinks it's a good idea too, as you already know. And Russell from the Township Commissioners, the first vice president, we did a press conference in the Rotunda at the state capitol, and we pulled some of these quotes from the leadership from that press conference. And the second vice president of the Boroughs Association who was there, Jim, those were his comments. One of the great things about this tax, unlike the 6% that we pay now, it goes to Harrisburg and God knows what happens to it. This 1% that's generated locally stays local. And it goes toward local services, and ultimately through the shared service component, it's spent on things that we think are important priorities that we have. Okay, we'll go to the call for action at the end. And then I'm going to go to the first slide here. First couple of slides to show you just how impactful this can be. Percy, understeal. All right. But this breaks it down again. So for every dollar that's generated as a result of this tax, 54 cents of it goes towards property tax reduction, either through the local level or from the county. And this may actually confuse you more, right? 20 cents will go to the general fund, 10 cents will go to that 10% goes to the collaborative fund, and 16 cents will go towards local government and general funds. That's how that 1 cent is broken up, or $1. Okay?